Welcome everybody. This is How to English, Teach and Learn with Gav and Em.
It's a podcast about teaching and learning English as a foreign language.
All opinions stated are personal and references will be given where possible. And that's why you should switch off the light before you leave the room.
100%.
Should be when you leave a room.
Where? When?
Yeah.
When you leave. You can't switch it off.
As you leave.
As you leave, when you leave. Either's fine.
And that's why you should switch off the light when you leave the room.
Absolutely, 100%.
Em,
Yes, Gav.
let's begin. I think we're ready.
We are ready. Yes.
Episode 39, The Environment.
Stress on the.
Can there be anything more important as well as all the other really important things? But the environment has got to be up there with the most important topics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see you're with me on this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm really glad we've finally got round to this. After 39 weeks of talking about lots of other stuff, we're talking about the environment. Now, I think we should divide this show into two parts.
Yeah.
The first bit should be the environment of teaching, which we sort of have covered before in previous episodes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Talking about, we've talked about online, we've talked about face-to-face groups, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And then we should jump into talking about our effects on the environment.
Yes,
and
environmental issues.
Yes, and things like carbon footprint, and then go into maybe some strategies of how to avoid damaging the environment, and also like how can we teach environmental issues to our students.
Nice, like that, yeah. So, without further ado, environment, your personal teaching environment. I think it's nice to change the environment.
How do you mean?
Well, I think it gets a bit boring if you're in the same place all the time. I'm at home now, teaching online.
Oh.
I'm getting a bit bored of my environment.
Okay.
Always in the same place. So I'm thinking perhaps changing my table location to a different part of my flat so that my students don't just see my enormous stack of washing up in the background every day.
Okay. You could repaint the table. You could have a green table.
They don't see the table itself because I'm sitting at it.
Oh, you mean from your students' point of view?
Oh, but I see what you're saying. I could change my own sort of outlook. Yeah, I think maybe change up something is a good idea.
There's some great examples from other teachers where they've got like whiteboards, blackboards, posters, and they can stick things up on there. Really good for teaching with.
That's a nice idea to have posters or something in the background that changes every day, and you could make that a bit of a feature, like what's different today kind of thing.
You could. Oh, I like that. Wasn't there was a sports person who was doing some online PE classes, and I think for the kids he said, okay, this week what's changed behind me, and it was like the vase is now on the left.
That was Joe Wicks.
Okay.
Should we mention?
If you like, yeah.
I think you can't say that without saying his name. But yeah, that's nice. If you teach kids, that could be quite fun.
Definitely. Yeah, that's really good. I actually came across a TEDx video, which was by a guy called David Barnum, and it was called Rethinking Learning Environments, Community as Classroom, and I'll put a link in the show notes. And he was talking about sort of site-specific learning, which could be taking the kids to the zoo or some other places where they are literally faced with new language, new experiences, and they need to find ways of expressing their ideas.
That's great.
I really liked it.
I've had lessons in galleries and museums, and they're really great too.
Yeah, definitely. It reminded me, watching this video, of an activity I did with one of my students, and she was looking for a new armchair from IKEA, and we had a quick look on the IKEA website. She was, I think we were on Skype, and she was looking, I shared my screen, and then we basically chose the one she was after. She was really keen on this yellow armchair, and I said, do you know if it comes flat packed? Do you know anything about the assembly instructions? And she didn't, so it was really good. The website had its own PDF, and I just clicked on it, opened the screen, and we looked at it together. We were looking through the instructions, and so that was really interesting. I was getting her to describe, how to screw these bolts together and stuff like that.
With an Allen key. whoever Alan is.
Yeah.
That sounds great. So that's the second best option, isn't it? If you can't go out, then you just go shopping online with your student.
That's
and
it.
discuss
And
it.
I often do, like my student wants to go to Legoland with his family, open the Legoland website, how much are the tickets, what are the directions, plan the journey.
Map, where you're going to go first, where's your kid going to want to eat lunch.
Exactly, that's it. Yeah, so all of those things are online.
Virtual environment as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
you can go anywhere. Google Maps as well. The, what's it called? Street View.
Yes.
You can have hours of fun.
You can.
I once had a whole tour of Croatia. I think it was pretty much the entire country, just because a student said, this is where my summer house is, and we go down here to go to the beach.
Oh, I love it.
Up here there's a shop, and I was like, this is lovely, great, but there's like 3 other people, so I wasn't sure whether we should let
I'm
it
sure
be.
they were just as interested as you were.
It was really fun, though, and it was just real.
I love
which was
it.
Nice.
That's brilliant. Okay. And there's also some awareness that you can give your students in the classroom. They could be for teaching
the
kids.
physical classroom, are you talking about?
Well, I guess you can teach this online, or if you're actually there in the classroom, you can teach. They talk about some practical tips to adopt, like, for example, the 3 R's, which are reduce waste, reuse resources, and recycle materials. And then you can learn all about sort of replanting trees, encouraging students to switch off their appliances and lights, for example, when you leave the room. So there's all these sort of practical tips, turning off taps and use water sparingly.
So
really
this is a lesson, you mean? That's actually...
Well, there's a website called Green Schools Alliance, and they've got loads of tips. So you can just take some of the information from there and then teach it to your students.
I see. So we've moved into the second part already.
Well, we're sort of combining, the environment in the environment of teaching.
I see. I like it. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's really nice to make students aware of their room. And would you say to your online students, turn off your laptop when you're not using it between meetings?
I like that. That's a good tip.
Because I'm not sure I always do, and I should really save the electricity. Don't put the light on unless you need it, even though it does make you look a bit better sometimes.
Well, I think we mentioned before, just if you can sit near a window, have some natural light. That might be better for you.
Exactly. That's important in your environment. Natural light and a window open.
Yes.
And get some ventilation
in the summer.
Going. Yeah. Yes. Well, even in the winter, maybe just a crack.
Okay. So have you got any more on the the actual space itself, or shall we move on to...
I think we can move on. Because, Gav, do you remember last week you gave me a little impromptu quiz?
I did.
I may not have enjoyed quite as much.
You were fantastic. I was really impressed.
Yeah, it was a bit stressful. So now, this week, it's your turn.
Really?
I've found a really good quiz about being eco-guilty.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
No.
Well, you'll find out soon. So it's about how eco-guilty you are. Oh. It's from New English File 3rd edition, Upper Intermediate.
Okay.
Unit 4A.
Okay, very specific.
And I like it.
Is that the 3rd edition?
Yes, okay. I said 3rd edition.
Sorry.
What I really like about this is, as we'll probably get on to the topic of teaching about the environment, and a lot of teachers say, you introduce that topic and students kind of roll their eyes like, oh, this is boring, which I've heard a lot of people say.
Really?
But this has a really nice way of getting into it, and it's a sort of very applicable.
Would you use this on different age students? Could you use it on young students and older students?
I think it's for people that are kind of adult with life of, just...
More life experience.
More life experience. But definitely anybody more like over 16, I would say. Yeah, it definitely applies. And it's really personal, which is really good, because a lot of the time it's a very abstract kind of what can we do to save the planet kind of thing. Sure. But this really makes it... Well, you'll see.
Hit me with the questions.
I'm going to hit you with the questions. So you need to keep track of your score with this.
All right, hold on. Do I need a pen and paper?
You need a pen and paper.
Hold on.
And if anybody else wants to do it, you're going to have to go to English File to check your scores because it's going to be too complicated, I think.
I like that.
So if you have the same answers as Gavin, then then you've basically got your answers, but otherwise you'll have to check it out.
It's very unlikely, but yeah, go on.
Well, you never know. So, Gav,
yeah.
Shopping bags. You've got 3 options, okay? You have either reusable shopping bags made of recyclable materials which you always use when you go shopping. Or you own several reusable shopping bags but you often forget to take them with you. Or you always ask for a plastic bag because they're convenient. They can be recycled, can't they?
Ooh, I think probably the second one, because all of the bags I take are not from recycled materials.
Oh, yeah, it's tricky, isn't it, as well? And if you forget to take them sometimes. So you have got -3 eco points for that answer.
That's not a good start.
No. So next question is about washing towels.
Towels?
Washing towels. Do you wash your towels immediately after you use them? Do you use a towel for several days before you put it in the washing machine? Or do you suddenly remember that you need to wash your towel?
Somewhere between 2 and 3. Maybe number 2.
All right, then that means +1
Okay.
eco point.
Okay.
So what are you on now?
I'm now on -2.
Right, okay. Next question is about running water.
Mm-hmm.
Do you never leave the water running when you brush your teeth or before you get in the shower? Do you think you are allergic to cold water, so you have to leave the shower running for a while before you get in? Or do you hate showers, you need a hot bath every day to relax?
Oh, that's tricky. The first one.
First one, oh, that's good. That's +2 eco points.
Okay. Oh, I'm back to 0,
So
I think.
you get in the shower before... You
Well,
just get straight in?
Almost completely.
All right, fraction of a second.
It'd be fraction, yeah. It heats very quickly. I'm very lucky. And I don't waste water when I'm brushing my teeth. I'm very careful about
All right, that's very good. Very, very good. Okay, next one is about buying fruit and vegetables. Do you never buy fruit and vegetables at supermarkets? You buy organic fruit and vegetables in markets or small shops? Do you buy some fruit and vegetables in a market, but the supermarket is more convenient?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you shop at the cheapest place? Who cares about eco-guilt? I feel guiltier if I spend too much money on food.
Somewhere between the second and the third one.
All right, I can split it if you want.
No, I want the points to go with the second one.
You want the points? Okay, so the points are -2.
Oh, okay.
Minus
Did that
2.
wrong.
Well, if you'd have said third, it would have been -5.
Oh, okay, good.
All right. So the next one is about recycling.
Yep.
Do you throw everything in the same bin? Do you sometimes recycle glass bottles, especially after a party? But that's probably all. Or do you recycle all your newspapers, bottles, and plastic containers?
Everything.
Wow. Then that's +5.
Oh,
And while we're here, can I just mention that a lot of my students have a problem with the word recycling because they think it means you actually you break it down into its component parts and you put it through a machine that allows it to become something new. What they think it is sorting. You sort your rubbish into separate areas and then you take it to the recycling rubbish bins.
Oh.
But I think in English we just say, we recycle.
Yeah. Recycle meaning to sort.
Yeah, to sort and put it into the correct coloured bin. But I mean, it's not actually recycling it, is it? Because that's not what the person does that throws it away. That's what the machine or the company does. I'm not right. I just think it's one of those sort of things in English that we just say, we recycle. Mm-hmm. Everybody should recycle. Mm-hmm. Last question, finally. What about getting around? Do you walk, use public transport or cycle because cars pollute the planet? Do you walk, use public transport or cycle because you can't afford to buy a car? Or do you vroom vroom, here I come?
It must be the first one.
So that's +5.
Oh, come on. Right.
Total your scores.
I've just got 8 points.
8 positive points.
8 positive 8 points.
So if you are between 0 and 12... you should feel quite guilty. Only if you get more than... Well, actually, can I point out the book has got a mistake?
Has it really?
It's got 0 to 12, you should feel quite guilty. Above 10, you're too good to be true. I think that needs to be if you're above 12, you're too good to be true.
All right, there's a little mistake there.
There is a bit. Maybe between 0 and 10. Anyway, you're well in the... You should feel a bit guilty section.
Definitely. So what should I improve? Just...
I'm trying to think. Buy more recyclable bags made of recyclable...
Yeah, but I don't want to buy the bags because then I'm producing even more waste. I'll definitely remember to take my reusable bags every time.
Yeah, and you need to go to markets.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point.
I guess you have to go to markets.
Better than supermarkets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done me.
Well done, yeah.
And well done to everybody else who did even better than me. That was good. I enjoyed that. It was really fun.
It was fun,
informative, and I felt really involved. Em, would you like a coffee?
Thanks, Gav, but you know I only drink tea.
Oh, yeah. Well, that could be arranged.
Oh?
Followers, if you're enjoying listening, watching, or reading Gav and Em's How to English Pod, visit ko-fi.com/How to English Pod.
That's coffee, ko-fi.com/How to English Pod. And it would be lovely if you bought us a coffee or a tea to show us support, and you could even get a mention on our show if you'd like. So how can we apply this to teaching and learning?
That's a very good question. Well, I think what you did there is a really good example. And then maybe afterwards you say to the students, okay, can you point out any other tips that you do or things that you should do? Mm-hmm. Maybe add a few questions to it.
Okay, yeah.
And discuss the point. So, where did you get your reusable bags from? How often do you remember to take them now?
Yeah.
Some nice language.
Okay.
Do you use public transport? If not, then why not?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Do you use a notebook or do you use everything online?
Oh.
Have you got apps for learning English or do you use books? I'm not saying it's wrong to use notebooks, but, save paper, save trees, maybe. I mean, personally speaking, since going online and not teaching face-to-face, my photocopy quota has gone from hundreds to zero.
Really?
I don't use paper anymore, which is amazing.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah.
And I think, my company give me an allocation for monthly copies, but it's not even relevant anymore.
That's
I don't
amazing.
go there. I don't use the machines.
So how do you send them homework or?
PDF.
Oh, wow.
PDF it. Everything.
That's really good. So you just email that after the lesson?
Yeah, it's so much easier.
That's a really good. Well, that must be good for the environment, mustn't it?
I think it is.
Well,
I think
it's interesting that you bring up this topic.
Why?
Well, I looked into, maybe not specifically that point, but I was quite interested in ebooks compared to paper books. And at custommade.com and The Guardian, there's a couple of really good articles there. And it tells us that to produce one ebook requires about 100 kilowatt hours of electricity, which is 30 kilograms of carbon dioxide. Okay?
Yeah.
We're focusing 30 kilograms.
Yeah.
Now, this compares to 2 to 3 kilowatt hours of electricity for a paper book, which is over 7.5 kilograms of carbon dioxide. So that is considerably less than an ebook.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so surprised.
Of course it is. No? Okay.
Well, but then, so we shouldn't be buying ebooks.
What do you mean?
We should be buying paper books. Because they're less of a carbon footprint than...
Yes, but obviously you can read more than one book on an ebook.
Oh, okay. Sorry. When you say ebook, I thought you meant one individual ebook, like a novel that you get on your... An ebook is two things, isn't it? An ebook is the reader. It's an ebook reader, not an ebook.
Okay.
Right.
To produce one ebook reader...
Yeah, like a Kindle, for example.
Yeah, or one of the other many very good products that are available on the market. It requires 100 kilowatt hours of electricity, which is about 30 kilograms of carbon dioxide. So that's your footprint.
Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? 30 kilograms.
It does sound like quite a lot, definitely. Which, compared to a paper book, which is 2 to 3 kilowatt hours of electricity, which is over 7.5 kilograms of carbon dioxide.
Right. So it's like a third of the energy.
Maybe a little bit less than that. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
But that's really tricky because paper books, you can only have one, and an ebook, you can have endless amount.
Well, yeah, exactly. And producing one e-reader actually uses around 33 pounds of minerals, including some toxic and some conflict minerals, many of which are mined in underprivileged, war-torn countries.
Oh dear. So complicated, isn't it?
There's also 79 gallons of water to produce one of these, which obviously produces loads of waste.
Well, depends how long your e-book reader lasts, I guess.
Great question.
No.
It would take around 40 to 50 books in order to equal the fossil fuel use,
Really?
water use and mineral consumption
Wow.
of one reader.
Well, I've had my ebook reader for about 15 years, so
Wow.
I think I've definitely equaled or the
You've
balance
paid
there.
back your carbon footprint on that.
Yeah, I hope so. It's still going.
That's
so.
really good.
Wow, that's interesting.
So
though.
there's a study in the US that says for a single year, this was back in 2006, it was estimated that the publishing industry consumed about 30 million trees and had a carbon footprint equivalent to 12.5 million metric tons of carbon dioxide.
Wow.
So that's equivalent to about 2 coal-fired power
Nice.
plants for over a year.
Unbelievable. What
That's
I'm
quite a
getting
lot.
from this, though, Gav, is how interesting a discussion this would generate in a classroom.
It's quite fascinating because it's just not clear-cut, is it?
No, it's not. And you definitely have split opinion. And, it's that whole argument with, those bottles that you buy that are the thick plastic reusable bottles or the thin plastic disposable bottles. And, that argument. And whether paper bags or plastic bags or material bags, which one has the best carbon footprint.
Okay.
There's so many different variables.
Yeah,
so I think to get into that is actually a really interesting conversation.
It is a really good topic. Exactly. So suggestions for what we can do in this situation? Buy used books.
Yeah, of course.
That's quite a good one.
That's
and don't,
good.
as you've just shown us, don't upgrade your ebook every couple of years
Yeah.
just because you want some fancy benefits from it.
Yeah, and that's I think a really good point about the second-hand books, as well as like English study books and textbooks. I can't stand it when people have written in them.
Oh,
And especially teachers' books. I
Yeah.
mean, teachers' books should never be written in, but I've got a lot of students who don't write in their student books either. They just have a separate notebook.
really? That's good.
Yeah, because then they can give the book to another person who
Mm-hmm.
can then study with it, and it's not got all the answers written in it. So it's a really small thing, but it's a good point.
That's
So
a really good
Once
point.
you finish that level, you probably don't need that book again. You're going to move on to the next book. So if you just have it in a separate notebook, you can give the book to somebody else.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's a
Yeah.
great tip.
I think so. From student side, it's something to think about.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Do you know?
I haven't a clue.
Can't remember, but it's really good to think about this. 'Cause that was it. I was just thinking again. This topic is something that people have an opinion on and can speak about. I think, even if you give them a few sort of statistics and figures,
Yeah.
or even get them to Google it. And a lot of the time, it's so abstract. This is what I'm saying about
Sure.
the environment.
Sure.
Like, what can we do to help, and how can we save the planet? And do you know the ice caps are melting? It's just so far away, isn't it? But if you bring in something like this, I think it's something people can really relate to.
Definitely, in practical terms.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's funny you should mention Google
Why is
because a typical search on Google generates about 4 grams of carbon dioxide.
Don't say
Did you
that.
even think of that?
No.
It's really surprising.
Think before you Google. It should be a new catchphrase.
Do you know how much 7 grams of carbon dioxide is?
How much 7 grams is? You mean apart from 7 grams?
Because you said you need to put it in
It's
practical
equivalent
terms.
to, I don't know.
To boiling the kettle twice.
Really? Boiling the kettle twice is the
Yes.
same as Googling what's the current trend for shoes this year.
That's it. The emissions are caused by the electricity required to power a user's computer and send their request to servers around the world.
Oh my
So
God.
I guess that doesn't include the amount of electricity that the servers are actually running on, where you're
That's
getting that information.
amazing. Oh,
I would
wow.
never have thought of that. And talking about using energy online, you think about the videos that we're watching all the time, and we use videos in our teaching and learning. Well, for a 30-minute video on Netflix, according to carbonbrief.com, it's a really good article, lots of arguments in there. Emissions are around 40 grams of carbon
40.
per 30-minute video.
What was Google? It was
It was 7.
7. Boiling a kettle twice.
Mm-hmm.
So watching a Netflix video is like,
Over 2.5 times boiling the kettle. So it can be more or less depending on if you're using a TV or if you're using a laptop, and then if you're using a mobile. If the mobile is on 4G, for example, you'd be using more again. It's so complicated, but it's absolutely fascinating.
that's a lot of tea.
Imagine your carbon footprint after binge watching YouTube videos all day.
Yeah. And if you make a cup of tea at the same time, it's like endless amounts of kettles boiling, isn't it?
It is. Thought-provoking.
All right. It is very eye-opening.
Yeah, because we're talking about things that we're using in the classroom. We're talking about things that students are using to improve their English. It's all of this stuff we've got to take into account.
See, I still am a bit old school. Because go back to speaking to each other like human people, just face to face. Use the air from your lungs. You don't need all the stuff. You don't need it. You can just talk.
What? So you're talking about going to a cafe, going to an office building? The carbon footprint behind behind a physical building?
Oh, no.
Okay.
So that's a good lesson, isn't it? Is it possible to have a zero carbon footprint, or how do you get your carbon footprint lower?
How can you reduce it? That's a really good question, because there's the carbon footprint quiz for kids at gokid.mobi, which has questions and practical solutions for kids. So you can use that in the classroom. You can use it yourself if you're really interested.
Nice. Start young, definitely. Really good. So what else? I think travel is a big issue.
Yes.
And I'm not travelling anymore.
Are you not?
Nope. All online.
You're literally at home.
I'm at home, except for one lesson a week where I go on foot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've reduced my travel and my expenses, which is good.
That's really good.
Yeah. Digital nomad, is that what they call it?
Kind of.
What does that actually mean?
I think that means travelling abroad and then teaching from anywhere in the world on your laptop.
I'm not that. I don't know. No. I'm just at home.
You're more sedentary than nomadic.
I'm a digital homebody.
Okay. Well, as we were talking about maybe some topics, students could go to these websites. There's learnenglishteens.britishcouncil.org, and they've got some really good topics. Can you guess what the topics are?
Connected to the environment?
Yep.
Have we mentioned any already?
No.
Making clothes?
They haven't mentioned that, but that is a good one. Oh. Maybe you could bring that back again, Em. Make your own clothes.
That is a massive issue. Come on, the fashion industry is
You don't
massive.
need those curtains anymore, do you?
Fashion industry needs to really get with the programme.
Okay, good. All right.
So note that. All right, let me try. Give me a clue.
It's about diet.
Oh, so sustainable farming.
Veganism.
Aha.
So it's a really good article on veganism. Any more?
Clue?
Striking?
Striking?
Yeah.
You mean like I don't want to work anymore kind of striking?
Last year, kids.
What?
In the streets. Students. The school kids were striking for climate.
Oh, okay. Extinction Rebellion.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Exactly. So the kids went outside. They said, we're not going to study because the climate is the most important thing.
Right.
Okay, come on, quickly. 2 more.
2 more. Travel.
Plastic pollution. Very good. And the last one?
Plastic pollution. Good. And
you've already said it. Tips on cutting down on waste.
Yeah, dump your phones.
Yes.
All teenagers, get rid of those phones. That's
just not practical, isn't it? We use
not.
our phones for everything. Finally, there is also a really good article at Hello Teacher from Kim, and there's some really good topics about advantages of working online or offline. So again, we're coming back to our physical environment. We've got, number 1, flexibility. Mm-hmm. Is that for online or offline, Em?
Online?
Yeah, you're much more flexible when you're teaching online. Unsociable hours?
Online.
Exactly. Loneliness?
Online. My social life is sort of 0, but I spend all my day talking, but not in a social way.
Not in a meaningful way. Okay. All right. So anyway, Teacher Kim covers some of the topics like that. Also contracts and facilities. So as you mentioned earlier, you're not using the photocopier anymore, but maybe that's not a disadvantage to you because you're working online.
But you have to be adaptable. Definitely. You have to be ready to quickly change the whole way of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So have you got any more tips for us about our working environment?
I'm done, I think. I've said it all.
Okay, so I'm going to put loads of links in the show notes. Anybody that's interested in following those up. Any thanks that we need to give?
I don't know. Probably loads. Thank you, everyone who listens comments, and we read them all.
Okay, so there were some really good tips there on how to teach the topic of the environment.
In an interesting, engaging way.
Exactly, because it's a really good topic. It's so important that people are aware of it. And also we talked about our physical space, and I think we've covered it all.
Yes, we have.
All right, so thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks to you, Em.
Thanks to you, Gav.
And I'll see you next time.
Have a great weekend.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.